As promised, I got up before 8. Well, I promised to get up at 8, but I got up at like 7:30. I went running about 4 miles, worked out, and worked on QuickBooks, and I'll show those time lapses right now. Cue the music.
To the music. To the music. It turned out to be food for the soul. Food for the soul. Food for the soul.
The title of this video is Health is Wealth. I have been pretty rigorous with my body more recently. 1 meal a day, pretty much only water all day, and then a lot of like cardio when I run, and my normal workout routine that I do every day. And today I just had some pretty shitty food as my meal, and right now I feel horrible. I've been on Instagram for like Instagram and YouTube doing fuck all nothing for 2 hours since like 5, and it's 7 right now, maybe since 4. Yeah, it's not good. I think I'm getting into a mode where my body is turning into a race car, and it only needs race fuel. Like, I can't do pump fuel anymore in my body. I have to just do straight race fuel so that I could keep going and not feel shitty like how I feel right now. So I'm struggling to do the TMTG paper and to start working on my math homework. Most likely I'll power through it and I'll cut right now, and you'll see the time lapse of me doing those exact things. But I just want to let the record show, I think I have to actually start taking what I eat more seriously, because I cannot be like feeling like this and have to fight it every single time. So yeah, cue the time lapse. We persevere anyways. That's how we always do it.
To the music. To the music. It turned out to be food.
Just finished going over 2 quarters of TMTG. Their earnings before interest and tax were pretty much the same for both quarters. Where it got interesting was in their after their operating income. I fucking butchered that. Okay. No cuts though, because we got to show the improvement over time. Okay, we're just gonna do a finance lesson today. Okay, so buckle in your seatbelts because I butchered that, so I'm just gonna have to go over the basics of an income statement. Okay, so starting off with TMTG's revenue, top line revenue. For the 2 quarters that I just did, pretty much the same, minute changes, blah, 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 the same. So, okay, boom. Revenue, cost of goods sold, or some people call it cost of revenue. Their cost of revenue is very low because they are a SaaS company, which stands for software as a service. So they're not selling cars like Rivian that lose money on every car they make. Anyways, so their cost of revenue is very low, and it was pretty consistent over the 2 quarters, which gives them a gross profit. So you have top line revenue. I should be looking at the camera. Top line revenue, cost of revenue, gross profit. And then after you have your gross profit, you take into account your operating expenses. So operating expenses typically consist of general and administrative, R&D, depreciation, and amortization. Now, if you don't do depreciation and amortization, you get what's called your EBITDA, whatever you want to call it. And EBITDA stands for earnings before tax, interest, depreciation, and amortization. So revenue, cost of revenue, gross profit, operating expenses. If it includes depreciation and amortization, then that will give you your EBIT, which is earnings before interest and tax, because tax provision and your interest is below. Okay? But if depreciation and amortization is not included in that lineup, then that'll give you your EBITDA. And EBIT is essentially your operating income. It's kind of a good way to measure how much the company makes without any BS finance stuff, because depreciation can wipe away a lot of profits and it's kind of a phantom loss. But that's tax and accounting. You have to have your tax and accounting down as a baseline to understand an income statement. So I'm just going to assume that y'all know that. Anyways, after their operating income or after their EBIT is where it gets fishy, because EBIT is earnings before interest and tax. And because the company loses money, they don't pay tax, so that's fine. But the interest. So the interest is cut up into 2 parts. Net non-operating interest income is the first one, and then other income expense is the second one. Now, I am not really sure how that's calculated. If I had to guess, and because I'm not sure, I'm going to look it up later tonight before I go to bed, probably after I publish this video. But I think typically, if I have a company and I have $1 million on the balance sheet, $1 million cash in the bank that, I have in a checking account that I just move back and forth, whatever. And part of that million, I take 500,000 and I put it into some bonds. The interest that I make on those bonds goes right there, I think. So typically, for most companies, their interest income is not very much. But for TMTG, they have some big up and down losses and gains for their income, for their interest. So anyways, I'll look into that, I guess. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. Anyways, next time lapse, I'll probably be working on math. DJ, drop the beat. Because I butchered explaining an income statement, tomorrow, next video, I'm going to just explain the income statement from beginning to end, no cuts, and with no flaws, because I need to show that I can explain to anyone how income statements for publicly traded companies work. Anyways, DJ, drop that beat.
Food for the soul. Food for the soul. When I first experienced the world of electronic music, my perspective shifted.
Just finished up doing a little bit of practice for my math homework. I think I already went over doing QuickBooks today and everything, so I won't go over that again. But I will circle back to the title of the video. Health equals wealth. And fortunately, I found this out at a very young age. One would think that one meal of the day, I'd be so hungry that I would eat anything and it would be great. However, it's not true. With all this exercise that I've been doing, I think I'm like training my body to be more like a race car instead of a commuter car, if that analogy makes sense. And so for race cars, they need special fuel. You got to put high octane racing fuel in those race cars because their engines are optimized for very high compression. And normal pump gas is not optimized to burn at that compression rate. And by the way, for all you car heads, I know that was probably wrong, but that's kind of my understanding of it. So by doing all this stuff, I'm making my body into more of a race car body that needs race car fuel. And I just dumped in pump fuel today. I had Donahoe's Chicken, which is this place in Pomona. It's just like fried chicken. And like the entree plate that it comes with is 3 strips of chicken, steak fries, mashed potatoes and gravy, and some buttered bread. So all carbs, pretty much. All carbs, and it's all crap. It's all crap. The mashed potatoes are crap. The bread has got a bunch of butter on it, it's crap. The fries are crap. I mean, they taste good and stuff, but, like, it's not good for your body. It's fried, it's oily, it's greasy. It's just not that high octane fuel. And I ate it, and after I just felt like, my stomach didn't really hurt, but it was just rough. And so knowing that, I will take into account for the future not to eat shitty stuff like that, because I don't want to feel shitty after. And talking about the short future and how I should try and eat things that aren't as bad for you, I also thought about the long future. Oh, you can't even see that. The long future. And I was thinking, like, holy shit, I'm going to be at a point in my life where I need to be functioning at such a high level, at a much higher level than this. If you guys slow down the time lapse, you guys can see that I'm really not productive the whole time. I get distracted and I start watching videos. I was doing my math homework and I started specking out a G-Wagon. And so, but the stakes aren't very high right now. I'm not at like a crazy level right now. And so when I get to that level, I need to be on my shit. My productivity needs to be like, my brain needs to be firing on all cylinders. I need to put more cylinders in my brain to fire with. And in order to do that, in order to operate at that higher level, your health needs to be in order. Your health is your wealth. And so I'm like, fuck, like I'm gonna be at a point where I'm gonna have a full-time personal trainer just so that my body can be in the optimal condition. I'm gonna have to have like a full-time chef, something like that, just to make sure that I'm eating, just to make sure that all the fuel that's going in my body is like perfect, so that I don't even have to think about that. I just contract all that stuff out so that I can just consume and work out and exercise, and then I'm just like, boom, I'm like Superman. So thinking about having a team of professionals helping me, just so that I can keep what matters important, and I guess your body important too, because it's all correlated. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be super cool. Oh yeah, chef. What are we gonna have today? So yeah, it's daunting to be at a much more productive rate, but we'll get there eventually. I'll get there eventually, and so will you. If you're watching this, you will too. Okay, I fucked up today. It's 12:46 a.m. Super late. See, I got up early and I went running 5 miles. Well, ran 4 miles, walked 1 mile. You guys already know. But I'm not sleepy. I'm fucking like, I'm gassed up. I'm ready to go the next day. But society says that I need to sleep right now, so. But then once I sleep, I'm like fucking comfortable in the bed, and I don't wanna get out. That might be another good tip. Get a really uncomfortable bed, and you'll get up early every single day, because you'll wake up and your fucking back will hurt. It's like, oh fuck, this feels horrible. I gotta get up. Anyways, good night, folks.